everyone. Welcome to the Elite Real Estate Podcast, Episode 7. I'm Sam Popple, and this is my co-host, William McClellan. How's it going, Will?
Dude, all is good. All is good. I think we hopped into some really good stuff last episode, and I think we're going to kick it off really strong. So for everybody out there, Sam was kind of talking about how he could have made a ton of money, but it would have screwed one of his friends and investors. And that's just not how we operate that's not how we do business. So Sam, if you kind of want to dive in a little bit for all the listeners about what that deal consisted of, what would have happened and how you kind of pivoted to make that deal. And then let's kind of dive into how you can there's always another out. There's always another way to make a deal happen. You just have to be, light on your feet. You have to think quickly, and you have to know how to pivot into the direction that's going to be best for everyone. And sometimes that means you lose money. That's the truth. So.
Right. No, so I think the big one I was kind of talking about last episode was the deal that I had when some people I was partnered with had a fallout between themselves. And then as a byproduct, they were trying to figure out how to either get rid of each other or to buy me out to take over control because essentially I was the single biggest partner in the deal. I owned 50%. Then they owned, these two guys owned 50% together. So 25% apiece. So that's kind of what, like I said, they first were trying to figure out, they couldn't solve the problem within their own partnership. So then one of the partners who had an outside investor who was willing to back him with a good chunk of money called me up and said, "Hey, Sam, I'll give you," and I think at the time it was, I want to say it was 300,000 for my half, which would, it was something where I was going to make 150 based on what I had in it. And very tempting because, obviously, I mean, I'm not gonna lie about it. It's tempting, because if you know what you got into it and you can get an instant $150,000 profit, it's hard. It's really hard to not take that sometimes, because you got to, how, the times you were struggling. So, the times that money would make a huge difference, because I remember there was definitely a time in my life where, I thought $1,000 was a lot of money. And I'm not saying it's not now, but, like I said, think numbers become relative over time. And so, like I said, so when I was offered this, it was a lot of money to me, but at the same time, I kept thinking about what's my goal? What's my real goal? Is my real goal to make the 150,000 here, or is it to be a billionaire real estate investor in, the next 20 years? And that's what my real goal is. Like, I don't think on any other episode I've kind of come out so boldly and said what my real goal is, but my goal is to be a billionaire in real estate. And but it's not a short-term goal. That's a very long-term goal. Just to compound to $1 billion, obviously, is an astronomical figure. Very few reach. But the only way you have a possibility at it is if you think in long terms. You got to kind of think in decades, not in months. And so whenever, like I said, I was given that opportunity where I could have, like I said, been got all my money back, made 150. At the meantime, I would have had to screw two people in my life. I would have had to screw one of the guys who actually, I'm partners with him today on my Destin condo. So, and I think, and one of the reasons that we're partners today is because of how I handled that situation. Because he got to see my character and integrity in action, so he knows that I'm a solid person. I'm not swayed by the easy or what's comfortable. I'll do the right thing, even if it's uncomfortable for myself. And, I can't say that I would have always been that way. But just over time, I definitely have learned that, you got to be able to look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the day. And, and also, if you want to be able to really get people to invest in you, they have to be able to trust you for real. And, And so I just, like I said, I just live my life like that way, that, everything I do is with integrity, and I want to just make sure that I'm on my word. And so that's why, like I said, when I was given the opportunity to take the money, I held off and told him, like, nah, I told him, I just don't think it's the right thing. We need to kind of think of more fair deal. And I want to make sure that, his partner wasn't completely screwed, that I was friends with, as well as the person that was also my friend that invested in their side of the deal, for that. So that was kind of, even, I don't think I really clarified in the previous episode. So like the investor that I was looking out for actually didn't invest in my half. He invested in these guys because I said that they were trustworthy, which I believe they were at the time. But then, like I said, and hindsight, I definitely see the problems with the one of the individuals in that group. Again, though, I held out. I waited until we sold the project as a whole, and in turn, I was still able to walk away with a profit, only 80,000. So I really did give up 70 grand. Like, we can actually say that in actual numbers now. That I gave that up, but at the same time, I kept my one guy whole that trusted in me, and now I got another person who wants to continue to partner with me on future Airbnbs, because again, he trusts me on the one. So now I'm partners on our current condo we have in Destin together, and that's been a smooth partnership as well. So we actually talked earlier this morning, and said that we would love to get a second one, just because the way we've been working together has been so easy, that I kind of handle all the guest messages and stuff. And then if there's a repair problem, that's where he goes in and takes care of that. So it's been a real great arrangement.
Yeah. So if you would have screwed him, what would have happened to that deal?
Yeah. I just wouldn't have had that
opportunity, right?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't have had the opportunity. So I might have been, 70 grand up. But then what else, what would I have done with it next? Because I will say, like, that particular partner, and kind of the way you've been a great partner to me, is like, I know I typically partner with people that are really good at sourcing deals, and so so yeah, if I would have screwed him, I would have kind of cut myself off of future opportunities that he's really good at finding. And and so, like I said, it's you really got to look out for the long game, and do the right thing, on that. And then, I think one of the other things we're wanting to get into in this episode is just knowing the options of kind of like, when pivoting, because like I had a deal, another deal that again, someone investment. It's my only deal that it was a break. I say break even. It made $1,000. But at the end, when I was coming close, I didn't even know if we were going to make the $1,000. And so at that point, I was all about just making sure that the person who was my cash to close investor got all his money back. Because again, everyone's aware of the risk in investing. And there's a lot of people in this real estate business that will kind of like, well, they knew the risk. It's on them. But I'm just not that guy, and I don't know. I don't believe you're that guy either. That's why we got together. Where
actually, there was specifically that one land deal when we got denied by the county that I said I'd pay you back. You're at
100%. Actually, I'll even tell you that made me no homo love you as my partner even more, because actually no Diddy. Like, man, this guy is like willing to because that there was like a particular deal that you did your homework. You thought it was gonna be one way, and we kind of got blindsided. But instead
we got the approval from the county.
Exactly. But instead of like, coming to me and be like, hey, we got blindsided together, you came to me like, no, I got blindsided. So if you want me to buy you out, I will. And I was, that's kind of where I stepped in, like, hey, I knew the risk. Kind of the opposite of the same thing I said a lot of the guys say. It's like, I did know them, so.
Yeah, but same thing, like, as you can see with Sam's integrity, like, I obviously, that's why we work really well together, because I was like, hey, dude, I've got, X amount, I'll pay you. I can wire it right back to you. And I was 100%, I felt so bad because I was blindsided in something that I took a lot of time and a lot of effort going back and forth. And then there's just a small caveat where people still in like relatively rural areas and where like the good old boy system can still work, like people can just veto things. Which is strange because that's like a calculated risk that now I will definitely have, but it's an inherent risk that is much effort that I did to put the deal together and put all of that in. It was not something that I was expecting to even have to deal with. But for you guys in future deals, like if you are dealing in an area where there's been old money and different types of county commissioners or city officials and things like that, it's like the grandson of someone who started something from a long time ago that was a large landowner and things like that. There are different rules. So not saying that would happen to your deal. It was such a crazy thing that I just couldn't believe that people could vote and say, hey, everything that's written in these bylaws will allow you to do this deal as a larger development. But we can still vote and say no.
Hey, which you actually said is great to start talking about, pivoting in real estate. So on that particular deal,
crazy pivot on that one.
Yeah, we pivoted a lot. So let's talk about all the pivots we did from our original plan to now. So I'll go ahead and kind of start just a little bit that we bought it like thinking that 4 houses was going to be a for sure done deal, like no questions asked. Like we thought it was, and just to clarify, everyone, it was a 2-acre parcel. So we thought for sure we would have been able to milk out 4 lots out of that, no problem. But then we thought the possibility was going to be 8, right? And I'm gonna let you take over now, so that because like I said, we thought we had a 4, then we were thinking we were going to have 8, and then we were told we had 1.
Yeah, definitely we pivoted, and again, like going back on some key parts of this episode of like being a good partner, like when we based on the land codes, we could break them down to half-acre lots. So that's easy. 2 acres. It was plus or minus 2 acres. There's a little bit extra coming in off the road with the roadways, but they're like, yeah, 3, no problem at all. 4, we'll have to get an engineer and like align everything, but still no problem. Then we got the engineer involved. We had everything drawn out. We had a site plan written out where it went to 8, and they're like, well, 8 might be a little bit of a problem. Let's scale it back. And then they said 6, and we're like, okay, great. We thought we were going to be like 3 for sure, 4 probably, and now you're saying 6. This is awesome. And then it got, just went to a vote, and then they said, well, this has been split off before, and then because it was in a lineage of a farm, and the farm had been split, and then the land was split off of another parcel where they created a secondary parcel ID. We're just going to allow 1 home, and it's like, what? Which was like super crazy. And then a whole bunch of other crazy things where they wanted us to get the Florida Department of Transportation involved, and if we wanted to do it, we would have to own and do all the upkeep on a privately funded road, which was going to cost us way more than the amount of the lot in itself. And then even like getting started for like probably at least 2 foundations. It was like such a ridiculous price. And then dealing with the Florida Department of Transportation is like endless waiting. And then
anytime you can avoid dealing with the government, you want to, especially the Department of Transportation.
Yeah. And then they almost didn't let us it was actually a huge mess. They almost didn't let us build 1 house because then they said we were going to be purchasing something that didn't have enough road frontage because the Florida Department of Transportation had done eminent domain on the property because of a hurricane that happened a couple years prior, and they wanted to create a drainage like outlet that went from where the road frontage is. And generally with an eminent domain, they're going to give you an offering for X amount of land that they're using, or they have to give you easement access. And so we had to go through a whole bunch of other things. So long story short, we pivoted and then pivoted again and then kept pivoting. And then all I kept telling Sam is like, hey man, there's a whole bunch of different avenues we can go here. I'll still buy you out, or we can make this a rental property. And we then got into a designing phase, which was really cool. And we designed a single family home that could run as a duplex. And then we got county approval on that, which was really great because we can essentially run and build a duplex that is also could be used as a single family home on any county property that's for a single family residential, which was a really cool learning process. And we now own those plans. And if you're interested in any of those
that actually, us owning those plans, even developing and figuring those plans out, actually probably is only came from us hitting our roadblock at the one thing. You know, like we would never have designed like so. Just kind of, I wanted to highlight that point for people that just because like something's not going right today and now, like doesn't mean that you might not be figuring out something that's going to make you a lot of money later, because like Will and I already figured out that we're going to profit off these plans big time over the next 10 years. Like these next 10 years, we're going to use these plans tremendously on multiple home sites. We're going to be doing identical plans. And so, like I said, so us being put in that uncomfortable position is what did give us a great opportunity at this set of plans that we now have and own as our own.
Yeah. Again, just like you never really know where things kind of snowball and roll into other things, which has been a really cool and frustrating experience. So when just make sure you're always open and looking for new opportunities within something that might be happening. Because if you're quick on your feet and you're open to, you know, creative financing, or you're open to like creative ideas, there's always a way to make the deal work. You know, it might not be the A or B plan, but it also will lead into other really cool things. Like that's something that we probably wouldn't have leaned into. And for us trying to get more doors, it allows us to essentially source more land deals that would normally just be single family. And now we have the opportunity where it would still be single family and the house could be sold and would be sold as a single family, but it can operate as a duplex based off of a really unique,
two separate.
So yeah. But yeah, so that's a lot to take in one, but really just you have to be whole with your partners. If mistakes happen, even those that are unbeknownst to you, and you kind of are shell shocked. But then it's just making sure you're doing the right thing, making your partners whole, and then knowing how to learn from it and being open to, you know, multiple ideas of how to make the deal work. So, because now this deal is really cool. It's like now we're in it with it let us, the lot and the location let us talk to about, I don't know, 6 or 7 different local builders, and they were all really interested in the lot, really interested in the idea, all wanted to be part of it. We built really good relationships from lunches to calls and things like that. And, you know, having that has been really, really great for us, because now we have all of these other people to lean on for when we do have other land deals and things like that, where we're working all different types of deals, where sometimes we're going to be giving them the land and then they're going to finance the building and then we split the profit. Sometimes we'll work deals in different ways. But it also just kind of led to us having those conversations, which is great too, because now it's just like we talked about in some previous episodes, just building that network consistently and bigger and bigger. So
definitely.
But yeah,
Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up. But yeah, you always got to be ready to pivot in the deal, and always, like I said, put your partners and investors first.
Mm.
You know, if you take care of your partners and investors, they'll always want to come back and do another deal with you, because they, especially if you did take care of them when things were uncomfortable, because that's when
Mhm.
they know you really are you're really looking out for them, which is it's not something people have in the stock market. No one's when you buy
Yeah.
Apple stock, no one's looking out for you if that thing's going to fall. Like you better know how
Exactly.
to read, and know how to read the data and know what's going to happen, because like I said, it's you're not going to get a warning, and if your stock does drop to half value, there's not going to be anyone like from the CEO who got paid the $100 million fire and exit package. He's not going to give you any money because he feels bad. He doesn't feel bad. That was the game. You played,
Yeah.
you lost, you won, he's out. So like I said, but in real estate, it is a little bit more, you do build more rapport. You do have more one-on-one conversations. You have more, partnerships, where you really know that individual. You got people that invest in you where, like I said, you've gone out to lunches or dinners together and got to know each other. You know their spouses, their kids. So it's really hard. It's really hard to, I feel like, do someone wrong when you're like that invested with someone, and like I said, that's one of the things that Will and I, why we became partners, is we knew that we always put each other first, and we knew together we would always put our investors first, which is what's most important to us.
Yeah, and then it's twofold as well. Like, also, if you're getting treated that way from someone you're investing with, take that as a hard lesson learned, and don't work with them again. It's okay.
Exactly.
Like you, even if you guys are friends, like if they were a true friend, they would be treating their partnership like how Sam and I treat each other and how we've treated our other investors. Because if they're willing to take that payday, and screw you for it, you might think you're friends, but that's not a friend, and that's not someone who's looking out, and someone that's pitching you a deal to invest in. So you have to be able to recognize that as well, on the on the other side of, like, of course you want to treat everyone right, but you also need to know and recognize when you're being mistreated in a partnership
Well,
too.
not every opportunity that shows up on your doorstep is a good opportunity. Like
Totally.
I get invited and asked to be partners and stuff all the time, and I
Mhm.
used to love saying yes, because I was like, because I felt like every time I said no, I was saying no to an opportunity. But I'm now a lot more picky on who I say yes to, because
Mhm.
partnerships are, they're a lot like marriages, except you don't have sex, so it's not you don't get the good part there. You just all you can do is act together. So so it's like, if it's not going to be good, it's going to be real bad. So you got to make sure.
You're just shelling out money, so you're
Yeah,
not
you
getting
got to make
anything.
sure that like I said, y'all
Yeah.
are both making money together, and you're both looking out for each other to make sure that it's a good thing, because if you get stuck in a bad one, it's going to be an uncomfortable situation and an uncomfortable exit. So
Totally.
like I said, definitely make sure, like Will said, make sure your partner's treating you right. You're the person you invested with treating you right, and if they're not, definitely look out for those other options.
Mhm.
But anyway, to wrap us up, Will, where's a good spot for people to get in touch with you?
Yeah, guys, for sure. We're gonna have a link to our website down below in the show notes. You guys will definitely want to hop on there. You can just fill out like what type of investor you are, what you're interested in, and if you have a deal, if you want us to look at it, or if you want to partner on a deal, or join our buyers list. And for wholesalers, make sure you connect with us, because if you have a deal and you can't, you're running close on time for the expiration, maybe we can help offload that in joint venture there. You can also,
We'd love to help you find an end buyer. So, baby, between our
yeah,
buyers list, you got the property. If we got the buyer, we would love to make some magic happen together.
yeah, and also, just like, if you have something that you think could be a deal and you want a second set of eyes, we're here as well. And we look forward to working with you guys. You can also find me at Elite, REIFL. Sam.W. McClelland. So McClelland. And then Sam's Instagram is just too good. Where do they find you, Sam?
Yeah, so mine is easy. It's Sam_Florida Man. So just remember Crazy Florida Man, Sam_Florida Man.
Yeah.
And you can find me there. Feel free to shoot me a DM. And like Will said, please go to our website. We're going to be, we probably, if you listen to this episode, we probably have our newsletter launched by now. But if not, that is coming very soon. So please, please subscribe on our website so you can get our weekly real estate newsletter of just kind of what's happening in the market, maybe some opportunities, different places to invest. And then, like I said, like Will already gave you a shout out to all you wholesalers that if you guys are finding deals but need end buyers, we would love to pair you with some of our end buyers. Or if we're always looking for people that want to invest in our land deals, here in the Escambia County, Pensacola, Florida, Northwest Florida area. So if you're wanting to buy a piece of Florida real estate, but you're not local, and so you want to partner with some local guys that know what they're doing and know the state very well, then please consider us. Feel free to, like I said, shoot us a message on the website or shoot me a message to my Instagram. Again, my Instagram is Sam_Florida Man, and you can check out our website in the show notes.
Yeah, and then right before we wrap up, I just want to say thank you to our sponsor, Clean Eats. They keep our podcast running. It's check it out.
I got my shirt on. It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle.
I just finished my protein over here. So
perfect.
So thanks again to Clean Eats. Just amazing products. Everything's clean. And you guys can check out Sam's Instagram, and you can see it. His transformation over time. It's just amazing. And the best part about it is I didn't eat pizza for a long time because I was like pretty low carb. But I got to say, I'm back on that pizza game in less than 500 calories for a whole thing. I mean, I can't even really have any meal like for that. Can't have 2 scoops of peanut butter for that,
Right. Yeah, 2 scoops of peanut butter is 200 calories.
So anyway, thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Well, cool. We'll see you next episode.